Hello, folks. Welcome back to Ferox Frank Reviews. And happy Columbus Day to all. Yeah, go figure. Since I'm Italian, I have to say happy Columbus Day. So, yeah, there's that. So, what horror film am I going to look at today? Or Halloween related movie? The answer is none. So, I decided to do something a little different for today and actually talk about my character I'm playing as in a Halloween party. I mean, last year you saw me dress up as Jesse Stone, and this year I'm doing the exact same thing again for a Halloween party that I was invited to. So, who is Jesse Stone? Why, for example, well, here's the thing. He's played by Tom Selleck, and he's actually the star of the Jesse Stone film franchise, basically a Hallmark film series that's been around for, say, the mid 2000s, from what I can gather. Yeah, like from the mid 2000s all the way up to like maybe a few years ago. So, yeah, pretty much that. So today I'm going to actually be looking at the Jesse Stone films. So, but which film am I going to be looking at? Right now there's at least 9 films. I mean, look at there's a like fucking 9. How am I going to get started, right? Well, I figured why not start with the first film? All right, which of course is right here, Stone Cold. But I'll be doing a complete disjustice because technically, storyline wise, this isn't the first. The storyline doesn't start here. It actually starts right here with this one, Night Passage. So so have a seat, folks, and we'll talk about Jesse Stone's Night Passage. I'm not gonna go into like crazy ass details like I usually do, so I'm just gonna keep it as short, as simple as possible. But let's just start the film off right now. The movie starts off with Jesse Stone actually in Santa Monica, California, and this time around he's basically just sitting right on a dock in Santa Monica, waiting to sober up because he's kind of drunk at the moment. He basically just got fired from his job working at the LAPD and is waiting to sober up. A couple of cops come by, they ask him, it's like, "Sir, I smell booze on you." "I'm waiting to sober up." "Are you sure? I mean, my partner and I can actually just take you back home." "That's okay. Besides, I'm moving to Massachusetts. I start first thing in the morning. So you want to, sir, young man? I'm gonna wait to sober up." "Okay then." So Jesse takes himself and his dog from Santa Monica, California, all the way to Paradise, Massachusetts. And where is Paradise, Massachusetts? Supposedly somewhere close to Boston, like maybe 20, like maybe 50 miles north of Boston. I honestly don't know. All right, so like it's supposed to around the Cove area, because around the Massachusetts coastline, it's in Cape Cod. So so yeah, it's around there, give or take. Because there's a lot of like a lot of boating references throughout the entire film series, so makes a lot of sense now, doesn't it? Anyway, we see in Paradise that the previous chief of police, called Luke Carson, is actually retiring, and we like take a look at some of the other people around town too, like the other deputy, like the couple of deputies, the main man who actually is a criminal known as Hastings Hathaway, and his wife, who's played by the actress who plays Alex Cahill in Law and Order SVU. No joke. I mean, look it up. I mean, I was a little surprised to find out it was Stephanie March the entire time. Go figure. Just takes a few days just to get to the town of Paradise, where he actually meets Luke Carson and of course the town executives, which of course Hastings Hathaway happens to be part of, and the mayor. One slight problem though, Jesse kind of smells like a bit of a brewery because of the fact he was drinking scotch the night before, and he makes the mistake of having one in the morning just to steady up. It was how do I put this? Probably not the right move, but he did not care at the moment because it doesn't matter. He gets the job, and honestly, he wasn't really. A lot of people thought he was drunk, but honestly, he wasn't really that drunk. I mean, he was actually he was actually morally in a clear set of mind, but he realizes that maybe in reality he probably would have never hired himself. He goes, he would have never hired his own self. I mean, even he admits it. Turns out but why did Jesse Stone get the job? Well, it turns out that Jesse is was actually a former detective, was a former cop in downtown homicide in Los Angeles, and originally he was a baseball player, a shortstop, until he suffered an injury, which of course made him derail his career from being a baseball player. And he decided to go, and instead of which, actually put all of his time and effort to go into rehab and then become a cop eventually. It's a decent paycheck for him, so yeah, it's good enough. So, anyway, Jesse is a is a no nonsense tough cop, and he's basically in a small town in Massachusetts, just wanting a little piece of paradise. Basically, this is his last stop. So from here on, there's nowhere else he can go. Yeah, I'm pretty sure some of us actually have that type of feeling. I do from time to time. No joke. So Jesse actually goes to the police stations and actually gets Lou Carson's badge and everything, though. But he really doesn't keep the badge on him. He usually keeps it in the drawer. Why? It's the way he is. And of course, Lou Carson gives him his gun, but he keeps the gun in the drawer because he has his own gun. I should mention like all the guns that the cops have are all like you know all 357s or 38 caliber revolvers, while Jesse actually owns a 1911 Colt 45 caliber pistol or Colt Commander. It's basically a 1911 model. Uh, Anyway, he gets called out. Anyway, he introduces himself to some of the other deputies, and the main deputy he actually that we get to know is Luther Simpson, who Jesse eventually calls Suitcase. Why? Well, over time, it turns out he actually explains later on because apparently Luther gets annoyed with this, but he asks why does he call him a suitcase all the time? Because Harry Suitcase Simpson, the baseball player, because he got traded so many times, they called him Suitcase. But I've never left this town. I don't know. Yeah, I know, but for some reason it seems to fit. Well, I am a baseball fan, so I'll take it. Yeah, so in most of the film series, we know he's since Luther Simpson is in all the movies, everybody calls him Suitcase, right? And he's basically, it looks like if Jesse is actually trying to prime him up to be his successor. That's what it kind of looks like. So, he gets called to a domestic disturbance where we see one of our main villains, aside from uh, Mr. Hastings, of course, Hastings Hathaway, who is supposedly the main villain, but tries to maintain a calm demeanor and actually is a member of society. We see the other main bad guy, Joe Janess, played by one of the brothers. I forgot which Baldwin brother it was, but I'm pretty sure it's one of the younger ones. So what happens? Well, he basically gets into a fight because he's actually in violation of a restraining order, and of course he's making verbal threats to his wife. Jesse, being the calm cop he is like, "No, sir, I don't think that we can actually do that." So, but so what? He can actually come in at any time. No, he's not supposed to. What you said? No, no, I said the restraining order may not work. Okay, we just have to reinforce it. Like how? Mm, well, boom! Hits him right in the balls. Hard. He falls down like a ton of bricks and goes, Jesse just sits right next to him and goes, if I hear you verbally threaten your wife or come anywhere near this house again or to your children unauthorized, I will kick you all over this town until you look like roadkill. Okay, ma'am. So, Mr. All right. Okay, Mr. Simpson, when he's done, when he gets up, make sure he leaves the house. But what if he comes back? He won't. If he does, call us. That basically shows you this is a guy not to fuck with. Yeah, he's one of those type of cops. So Jesse actually meets one of the ADA, meets the young ADA who eventually becomes his girlfriend named Abby, and they kind of hit it off a little well. But she basically scolds him a little bit for kicking Joe Janess in the balls. So, but to be fair, let's face it, folks. Would you have done the same thing, or would you have done something worse? Some of you would have done something a lot worse. Basically, they hit it off pretty well, and of course, they actually start dating. And of course, well, after Luke Carson actually retires, he leaves, and Joel Janess actually hits him with a Reddit truck and drives him off a cliff. What a douchebag! The next later on, he actually Joe actually goes to Hastings and gets actually starts counting the money because of the fact that because Hastings owns the bank, and of course he basically Joe demands some more money. What are you talking about? We don't need. So yeah, I deserve more. Like, come on, well, you're not gonna get any more. Joe, listen to me. I took care of Luke Carson. He's dead. Why the fuck did you do that? He knew too much. I mean, come on. It was the right thing to do. Oh, fuck. Uh, And of course, Jesse does his best trying to integrate himself with the town as best as he could. I should also mention he has a tendency to stir the pot, if you know what I mean. Trying to get people's flares tempered up and stuff. You know, basically he's trying to shake and see what comes loose. Eventually, he actually befriends Joe Janessa's daughter because of the fact, well, she's a bit of a troublemaker, and of course he's been trying to help, and he's just trying to help her out, get her on the straight and narrow, as you know. Plus, he's actually looking into the fact of what Joe was actually doing, and of course we have the main FBI character coming in, who becomes Jesse's best friend. Yeah, Jesse's got like a lot of friends in this film series. So Simpson is actually, Suitcase Simpson is basically his protege in the film series, while the FBI agent is clearly his best friend. I forgot his name at the moment, but then again, it comes back to me eventually. But those don't need to worry. Anyway, he comes to tell Jesse that Luke Carson's dead. And he tells him the day he actually died, and so he looks into it. He has the guy look into it though, and Jesse wants to be involved in it though because of the fact that he's his job, so he figures it'd be best if he helps him out. Like a good detective. Even though he's not a detective anymore, now he's a chief. And ironically enough, he asked about Joe Janess, and he says, "Oh yeah, I know Joe Janess." So supposedly he's actually mob muscle, and he's a bit of a tough guy, got a bit of a temper, has a bit of a temper, gets into fights, and supposedly he's actually a runner for Gino Fish. Gino Fish, one of the local mobsters in the area. Oh, I see. Do I have to worry about Mr. Fish? No, he mostly operates here in Boston, so yeah, I think you're good. Oh, okay. And I should mention that we do eventually meet Gino Fish in a few films later. So, and let's just say that Mr. Fish and Jesse have like a bit of a complicated relationship. It's more like a buddy system, because the fact that Gino is actually a mob boss and Jesse's a chief of police. So, yeah, kind of a rocky relationship a little bit though. But of course, like Jesse knows not to actually push too many buttons on that one. So, as most of us know. Jesse actually talks a little bit more about Luke Carson's death. Has the town open up a little bit though, and Hastings is actually a little bit surprised about the whole thing. I should also mention that Hastings' wife actually was trying to get in bed with with Jesse, but he openly declines. But he actually winds up, but she does give him a nice house though on the close by the Bay Area though, which is a house on a nice little island. It's a really nice location. And this becomes Jesse's permanent home throughout the rest of the film series. And he finds, and Jesse happens to notice that Joe is actually pretty friendly with Mrs. Hathaway, also known as Christy. And of course, Jesse starts asking a bit more questions around around some of the locals. And of course, he asks Suitcase about Christy. He says, "Oh, because Joe's plumbing. Oh, because Joe's fucking her. What else is new?" Okay, I wasn't expecting that. How'd you know that particularly? I was fucking her before Joe took my place. Oh, so she's basically the town pump. Yeah, kind of. She kind of is. Oh, okay. Stephanie March as a whore, as the town whore. I haven't seen that since the Chris Rock film Head of State, where she plays a professional whore who is supposed to sleep with the president. Okay, there's a lot of jokes I want to say there, but let's just move on. Okay. Anyway, eventually, Jesse happens to notice there's something going on between Joe Janess and there's something going on with Hastings because apparently they look like they're working together. He does a little bit more research and finds out and a couple of the deputies realize that Luke Carson, their boss, who they admire so much, may have not actually been on the straight and narrow, though. But of course, Luke Carson was always fair to them, and he always helped them out when they needed the help. Because he was such a good guy, but he was also on the take, and clearly, when he retired, it was clear to say that he hated being on the take for so damn long. So he just couldn't take it anymore and decides to retire. So when you think about the previous chief, Luke Carson was really a nice guy. Just really regretted being on the take. So Jesse, being the dutiful copyist, decides to take the law in his own hands, or in this case, use the law to actually get some well-deserved justice. So Jesse actually stirs the pot up a bit between Hastings and Joe. And basically he tries to set up. And Jesse happens to know for a fact that he actually has Hastings come to his office, but he notices that his gun was missing because Hastings got there before he did, and his gun was missing. So he puts two and two together. He took my gun, didn't he? Anyway, eventually Joe agrees to meet Jesse in a local, someplace a little private to talk about something. And while Jesse's just there, holding a coffee, like so. Okay, this is a cup. Okay, I know this is an empty cup I use for water and have a soda occasionally, but you kind of get the idea. He's holding a coffee with his hand in his pocket because it's a little cold out. Joe comes out immediately with a gun, with a revolver, with a silencer on it. I work for the mob and kill people. Now you know. Now put your hands up and drop your gun. No. What? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do any of that. I'm sitting here in the cold weather drinking a hot cup of coffee. You expect me to do that right now? I mean, Jesus. Well, aren't you afraid of me? Dude, I just had my dog put down. I'm not afraid of you at this moment. Yeah, I forgot to mention, Jesse actually had a dog throughout this movie called Boomer, who actually wasn't doing so well, and he becomes friends with the local pediatrician who he decides to actually give him a promotional raise to get him some extra money, and he has to work as the town's coroner from time to time. And one of his first duties was to put down Jesse's dog because the dog was very sick, and if it continued to live, it would have been in more constant pain. So, you know, he put it down. Sad. Rest in peace, Boomer. Anyway, anyway, before things get a little out of hand with Joe and Jesse, Joe gets shot in the back, and it turns out it was Hastings with Jesse's guns. Like, Jesus, Hastings, what the hell did you do that for? Well, you were right. He was having sex with my wife. I guess you could say it was just forget it, forget it. I don't want to know. Anyway, just put the gun down. Huh? Okay. Anyway, he puts down the service revolver and picks up Joe's guns. Like, really, Hastings? What'd you think this was gonna work out? He's like, what'd you think? What is this? You want to do like I don't know, Joe shot me and you shot Joe to make it look like I shot him and he shoots me. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, yeah, that's basically the idea. I mean, I saw it in a movie once. Okay, Hastings, I'll give you some credit for that, but there's just one problem. What's that? How do you explain how Joe got shot in the back? Oh, that may be a little bit difficult. I mean, how would you think? I know what to think. Well, I don't know. How about drop your gun? All the deputies come right in and actually point their guns right at him. Oh, yeah. And I should also mention, I was recording this the entire time. Oh, hell. Here you go. Hey, fix get the damn gun down, Jesus. Yeah. All right. Hastings, you're under arrest for money laundering and murder. You have the right to remain silent and blah, 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 blah. Okay. Anyway, eventually Jesse goes back to Joe's old home and tells his wife and his kids what happened. Now, Jesse actually made an arrangement with the daughter if there's anything she needs to talk about, they can actually meet at this old at a shed outside of town by the marina. Because apparently it's her comfort zone. So after Jesse leaves, he goes right to that place to wait for her. To comfort and support her because that's the type of guy he is. And the movie ends right there in the spot. And that, my friends, was Night Passage. Was it a good movie? Was it a crazy movie? No. It's basically a mystery crime drama style movie that's designed from the Hallmark Channel, starring everybody's favorite man with the mustache, Tom Selleck. Now, I figured it was about time I do one of these movies, and I'll probably get to some of the other movies eventually. They're mostly calm, and honestly, I watch these movies when I'm just bored, and of course, when I have too much going on, I just pop in one of these movies, listen to the music, and calm down. So, do I recommend this movie or the entire movie series in general? If you're a Tom Selleck fan, you bet your ass I do. But other than that, it's an okay film series, especially for a Hallmark film. But well, now that I've finally done a Jesse Stone film, I think it's about time we talk about The Hunt. To the next time, it's Predators.